And the Secretary General, in a press encounter this morning, said that after nearly 80 days in which aid to Gaza had been blocked, a trickle of aid has finally crossed over. In recent days, almost 400 trucks were cleared for entry to Gaza through the Kerem Shalom crossing. But supplies from only 115 trucks have been able to be collected, he said, and nothing has reached the besieged north. The Secretary General said that all the aid authorized until now amounts to a teaspoon of aid when a flood of assistance is required. Mr. Guterres pointed to the need for safety and security mitigation measures to be in place for our convoys. Our staff's lives are at risk if we continue to be prevented from distributing food parcels and wheat flour directly to the people in desperate need, he warned. At the same time, he said that 80% of Gaza, or 4/5 of the territory, has been either designated an Israeli militarized zone or an area where people have been ordered to leave. The Secretary General reiterated that the United Nations will not take part in any scheme that fails to respect international law and the humanitarian principles of humanity, impartiality, independence, and neutrality. His full remarks are online. Regarding our operations in Gaza, yesterday we moved another batch of around 100 full truckloads to Kerem Shalom and picked up about 35 from the Palestinian side of the crossing to bring them closer to where people need them in Gaza. As a reminder, supplies we collect usually reach the crossing a day or two earlier because of the time-consuming procedures at Kerem Shalom. And the truckload sizes don't exactly match. Inside Gaza, our teams stack an extra layer of pallets on each truck to make the most of the space. Yesterday's deliveries included more flour, nutrition items, and medical supplies. Today, the World Food Programme said that 15 truckloads of critical food supplies were looted last night on their way to bakeries. WFP said that hunger, deprivation, and anxiety over whether food aid is coming in, are all contributing to rising insecurity. WFP appealed for support from Israeli authorities to get far greater volumes of assistance into Gaza, faster, more consistently, and transported along safer routes, as done during the ceasefire. They stressed that the number of bakeries and sites where Gaza's population can access food must not be limited. Even with all the challenges, our team on the ground say that the little aid that's getting through is already reaching people in need. A handful of bakeries managed to fire up their ovens yesterday using flour and fuel we provided, and our partners already picked up the bread for direct distribution. And in the south, a field hospital has received a much-needed batch of medical supplies this week. The World Health Organization warned yesterday that the intensification of hostilities has brought Gaza's already weakened health system to a breaking point. This follows yesterday's attack on Al-Awda Hospital in North Gaza, where patient triage tents, including one provided by WHO, caught fire, burning all medical supplies in the warehouse and destroying vehicles in the basement. WHO's attempt to reach the hospital yesterday was impeded, and as of earlier today, sources at the hospital tell us that the fire had not been fully extinguished. Over the past week alone, 4 major hospitals have had to suspend medical services because of hostilities, attacks, or displacement orders in their areas. That's Kamal Adwan, Indonesia, Hamad, and European Gaza hospitals. WHO tells us that 4% of nearly 700 attacks on healthcare in Gaza since October 2023 were recorded over the past week alone. That's 28 attacks, or 4 times the average number of attacks per day. At least 94% of the hospitals in Gaza are now damaged or destroyed, and half of them are no longer operational. Turning to the West Bank, OCHA reports that continued high levels of settler violence are having an alarming impact on Palestinians. Just yesterday, near Ramallah, an entire Bedouin community of more than 20 Palestinian households started dismantling their homes to move somewhere safer. That's about 60 adults and 60 children from Magayer Adair. And this comes after Israeli settlers set up an outpost less than 50 meters away on Sunday. Since then, attacks have escalated. Over the past week, settlers have stormed the community, threatened residents, broken into animal shelters, and set fires. And in the town of Brukin, in the Salfit area, nearly 150 masked settlers torched Palestinian vehicles yesterday. 8 residents were injured, most of them sustained burns while trying to put out the fires. Between 13th and 19th of May, OCHA recorded at least 28 settler attacks, that resulted in casualties, property damage, or both.